Is it on? Today I'm going to show how you can determine VDC of a 3-pulse rectifier. If we look at the circuit of the 3-pulse rectifier, we are concerned about VL, which is the load voltage. And the load voltage is going to be the voltage that exists because D1 will switch on when V1 is the most positive. After that, V2 will become the most positive, which will switch on D2, which will switch off D1. And then V3 will become the most positive, and it will switch on D3, which will switch off D2, and then 120 degrees later, D1 will switch on because V1 becomes the most positive once again. So the load voltage will be this voltage here, which we get from V1, and then V2, and then V3. Now the period of this area here, this pulse that we have, as we can say, there are 3 pulses in every one cycle of the input waveform. The period here of this portion here will be given by 5 pi over 6 minus pi over 6, which will give us 4 pi over 6, which is 2 pi over 3. So that will be my period T. In order to determine VDC, we need to determine the area underneath the graph, this shaded area that I'm showing now. And then we have to divide it by the period in order to get the average value. Now the scientific definition of average is equal to 1 over t of the integral between 0 and t of Vt dt. And that is equal to 1 over the period, 2 pi over 3, and the integral from pi over 6 to 5 pi over 6. And Vt, this section here, is equal to V max sin omega t. V max sin omega t d omega t. Vmax stays a constant. It is this point here throughout the whole of the period that is concerned. So we will bring it out of the special bracket. Vmax, the 3 goes to the top. 2 pi, the integral of sin omega t is always minus cos omega t, and the limits are pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6, and therefore it is equal to 3 V max over 2 pi minus the cos of, you put the upper limit in the double variable, 5 pi over 6 minus, and then you subtract the term as it stands there with the lower limit in the position of the double variable. And therefore, it is 3 V max over 2 pi. This is minus 0,866 minus the minus of cos of 0,866. And therefore, it is equal to, now the 2 negatives make a positive, so we have twice 0,866, which is 1,732, and 1,732 is the square root of 3, so we can write it as 3 square root 3 V max over 2 pi. Thank you.